North Attleboro Color Guard, followed by the North Attleboro Fire Department. There's the Color Guard. Off in the distance, just passing the post office, is a group of pipers, the Colonial Pipers. Next, the Disabled American Veterans. You can see Congressman Jake Auchincloss. There is State Representative Adam Scanlon, members of the Town Council. Boy Scouts Troop 23 making their way past us here. And now your North Attleboro High School marching band led by Mr. Rizzo.
Today's a day of remembrance for those who gave their lives defending our nation's freedom. And we're here today specifically because we should never forget the sacrifices that they made for that freedom.
This was issued by General Logan, and what it did, it established Memorial Day. General Order number 11. The 30th day of May, 1868, is designated for the purpose of strewing with roses, flowers, or otherwise decorating the graves of comrades who died in defense of their country during the late rebellion.
Last week, I joined my fellow members of Congress at Arlington National Cemetery, the Union's most hallowed ground. We marked the grave of General John Pershing. He was born in 1860 and died in 1948. And his life really commemorated and marked some of the epochal moments in American military service. He was born at the eve of the Civil War in Missouri. He then went on to be one of the first commanders in the Union Army that insisted on the equal treatment of black troops. And then in World War I, he led the American Expeditionary Forces overseas. That has special resonance today, that there are those in Europe and Ukraine giving the ultimate in devotion and sacrifice.
Memorial Day always makes me think about my grandfather. He survived a Nazi concentration camp. He eventually made it to the U.S. And soon thereafter, he enlisted to head back to his hometown in Germany to fight in World War II against Hitler and the Third Reich. We hold their names and their faces in our heads and our hearts. We remember their strength and their tenacity. We remember the gift of their presence, their love, and their vital roles in our families and communities.
Today, we specifically mourn the loss of our Massachusetts daughter, Marine Sergeant Johanny Rosario Pichardo of Lawrence. Sergeant Rosario was assisting in screening women and children at the airport. Her actions were part of America's largest airlift operation, which helped save some 124,000 lives. According to her commanding officer, Sergeant Rosario was helping two women who were getting crushed against the gates by the large crowd. Right before the bomb went off, she uttered her final words to her commanding officer. "They need me, sir." She always put others first, and despite knowing the dangers, she met them head on.
We have a pretty good life here. You know, in this country, in this state, especially in our town, we're pretty comfortable. It was FDR who said, "Those who have long enjoyed such privileges as we enjoy forget in time that men and women," I'm adding that part, "have died to win them." You know, and I'll just say this, everything that we live for day to day, it's worth fighting for.
Most people who went to a war zone know at least a few people who died fighting. One doesn't need to know a soldier to honor them today. It's important that we remember them clearly for who they were, warts and all. Were they heroes? Sometimes, not always. But they lived up to our noblest values as a civilization by sacrificing their lives, their future, for our own.
I couldn't think of a better day to present a check to Steve from the industrial park for $5,000. Today is very special to me because Memorial Day is to honor all our fallen.
God of grace and peace, we give thanks for freedom and justice. We give thanks for those who, whether by choice or not, gave their lives for their neighbors. May the memory of their sacrifices live on in our hearts and minds.